came prepared. It's two weeks in now, and we've been touring France, the Bourgogne. We're now just by the Loire, and fortunately there's quite a few places like this, if you know where to find them, that are peaceable. Sorry about the music, it's not that loud, it's only because I've got it on the car and there's no one around, and if there was I'd normally ask them. And it takes us a good half hour to do it properly, and whilst it's not the best of facilities, it is kind of private and it is accessible if you know where they are. And I kind of know back home, I'm from West London, I kind of know that area, the home counties, Berkshire, Surrey, all round there. Some parts I know really, really well, far more so than I know around here. And to be honest with you, there's very few places with facilities like this. Now this might not be much, but a lot of the facilities are really, really good. There's toilets, there's parking areas, there's privacy areas, and you can just pull up. Really, more or less wherever you are. And so far there's 2 weeks in, and we've had to do it several times. There's really been no discernible backlash or consternation about us doing what we need to do to ensure that my lovely wife gets the right kind of care. And like I say, okay, there might not be much here, but there are loads of places, beauty spots you can just pull up, and many of them have really, really good facilities. I don't see that back home, sadly. I know they're around and there's good facilities in some of the transport cafes, but they're all on the motorways, and it just beggars belief that we've got so much gorgeous land back home, but sadly it's not only privately owned, but it's operated in such a way that many of the most frail, like my wife, have no access to it. And sadly in my country the answer seems to be institutionalisation, which is another excuse to, sorry for my vehemence, but it's another excuse just to lock the most frail away. Most of them, they've worked hard all their lives, many of them, because I know them, and they've done nothing wrong, and they're suffering simply because those that own the land, don't wish to accommodate them. We're not asking for the land, we're just saying give a tiny, tiny, tiny bit up, especially in the areas that are most jealously guarded, to provide simple facilities whereby, with a bit of dignity, bit of privacy, and some care by those that care, to ensure that those facilities are looked after and made available to people like my lovely wife. It really costs nothing because you already own the land, and access to those beauty spots, personally I think should be enshrined in law, and in a way that those that genuinely care and own that land, open them up and make them available. And if at the end of the day people like myself or my wife disrespect that, then I can understand us not necessarily having access to it. But many of us, most of us, we're only asking to swing by once in a while, the odd picnic. We'd take care of our rubbish, of course we would. It's only natural and right to do so. We've been doing that 3 or 4 times a day for the past 2 weeks, and we've been able to do that simply because of places like this that do provide ready access in the back alleys, in the beauty spots, down by the river. And yeah, sure, they're hard to find. I suspect that there's an awful lot of people that live around here who perhaps have a similar mentality, that they want to jealously guard them for themselves. But I guess that says more about them than it does about us, because we're really not asking for much. And many of the most frail, like my wife, I think they've suffered enough. Surely all we're asking for is to be able to swing by, enjoy it peaceably, maybe for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, because there's an awful lot of land out there like this all over the home counties, down by rivers, streams, beauty spots. And if those facilities were there, simple facilities that don't cost much to run, and you gave up a tiny amount, a tiny amount of your wealth and your money, yeah, and your assets to accommodate people like my wife, then I think that would say a lot about the society that we purport to be. Yeah, I'm sorry this has gone on. You know, I know there's a lot of people out there doing bad things, and that's perhaps why you have to guard the land, but I don't think that I'm one of them. I'm trying my best here, using the resources I've got and trying to accommodate my wife. Sweetie, do you want to just put your head up straight? Come on. Yeah, that's good. Well done. Sorry this is going on a bit, but like I say, yeah, a little bit of peaceful enjoyment. You've had it for hundreds of years. We're not asking you to give it up. However, your ancestors got it. That's immaterial, but surely a benevolent society with all your private lakes and your private streams and your private beauty spots, you could make it more available to people like ourselves. It's not envy, it's sadness. It's sadness that we live in a society that, I don't know, my experiences are, we really don't care about the sick, the most frail, the most vulnerable. And like I say, if we choose to abuse those facilities, then I can understand that they get taken away. But as it stands at the moment, they're not made available to anyone. They're so jealously guarded, and there's so many, the able-bodied I see, abusing those facilities, or they're jealously guarded by the people that own the land. Surely the most frail, they've suffered enough. Surely we can accommodate them, have little facilities, little private areas. We're not asking for big sort of club spa lounges. We're asking for little areas like this, and somewhere where we can do the personal care and change the personal stuff, the stuff that we need to do in order to ensure that the most frail don't suffer anymore in terms of their personal hygiene. Doesn't seem much to ask, but for some reason, I don't know, the message ain't getting through, and I don't know why that is. And what does that say about, well, I know what it says. It says that people purport to care, but ultimately they just seem to care about themselves. Now I just think there's an opportunity there for us all to grow and show that we really care about the most frail, many of whom, their innocence in all this. They have worked hard for as long as they can, and now they're at a time where they need people to genuinely care, and that has to be by deed, not by words, because that's all I hear are the words. But when push comes to shove, yeah, I'm afraid that there seems to be very little real care, and facilities proper facilities. They needn't cost much to build, they needn't cost much to maintain, and you've already got the land, so access should be a given, and that would show that we really do care, and maybe we might grow a little in our hearts as well. And like I say, if people choose to exclude, if people choose to abuse that and do bad things, attack us anyway, well, at least we did the right thing, and we can hold our heads up high and show that we care, and then it gives us more of a reason to say to those that want to do us harm, sorry pal, we've done the right thing, we are doing the right thing, we do care about our sick and our frail and our vulnerable, and for that reason, we're going to do what we need to do to ensure that we protect ourselves against those that falsely accuse us of not caring. At the moment, with the way that we don't do nearly enough for the most frail and the vulnerable, it kind of does add fuel to the fire. Two wrongs don't make a right, that's what my mum always said, and she's right, two wrongs don't make a right. And the way that they've come at my wife through me simply because I'm doing all I can to look after her, well, I'm afraid that, well, that is another wrong, and just wrong after wrong after wrong just makes the wrongs bigger and bigger. And I hope one day that we'll learn that the only way to right wrongs is to do right. I'm going to shut up now because I know I've gone on a bit, and I love you, sweetie. Yeah, I thought you did really, really well. Yeah.